So what's the best way to start eating clean?
So, clean eating has been getting a lot of attention lately. There's some really wonderful people that have contributed to the concept of clean eating. Terry Walters, who is, her home is Connecticut. We're very lucky. She has written a couple of really great books like Clean Food and Clean Start, and they're all about clean eating. Clean eating is essentially a very easy way to eat healthy, rather than thinking about all these different diets and all these things you need to, do differently and calorie counting. It's ultimately teaching you how to eat in a way that's going to be optimal for the health of your body, to reduce inflammation and to feel better. Remembering that inflammation is a big, big source of pain, chronic pain, low energy, essentially how we feel really cruddy during our day. So if we can eat cleanly by avoiding inflammatory foods and just in general having a healthy diet, we can reduce a lot of pain by reducing inflammation in the body and preventing illness, which is a huge thing. So here I have a checklist. It's a very simple, very small checklist. It's just a start, but it's a really important start. So ultimately, one of the first steps to clean eating is avoiding gluten. Now, gluten has gotten a lot of attention, and it can be a little scary to think, oh, I have to avoid this. So let me talk a little bit about it. Gluten is essentially a protein that is found in wheat, rye, barley, and oftentimes in oats. And it's essentially a pro-inflammatory food, where what that means is that when we eat it, it induces more inflammation in the body. It contributes to pain and illness. By avoiding it, we actually can feel so much better. But unfortunately, because gluten is an allergen, it's not enough to just be gluten conscious or reduce gluten markedly. You really have to eliminate it from your diet entirely. But I will say that there are huge benefits. There is a growing field of research over the last multiple years showing that people that have chronic pain or digestive issues or illness, when they eliminate gluten entirely from their diet, they feel so much better, amazingly better, just by that, without doing anything else. So that's a big one, and there's a ton of books out there and a ton of resources to learn how to do it, and there's some wonderful substitutes. The second part of the clean eating checklist is to eat more veggies. Since we were kids, we've been hearing our mother, our grandmother, our teacher, everybody say, eat more vegetables, eat your vegetables. Well, the reality is that vegetables, diverse vegetables, meaning a multitude of colors and textures, can cure cancer. They can prevent diabetes. They can definitely reduce chronic pain. And they can overall make us feel better because they have nutrients in them that help us to eliminate toxins, reduce inflammation, and overall just be really healthy. So the goal is to eat a lot of vegetables, even 5 to 7 servings a day. When you're needing a snack, find some veggies, and that's going to make you feel a lot better. The third part of the checklist is drinking lots of water. Water is such this panacea. It's a cure-all. I will say that most of us, not just in the summer, but most of us humans are dehydrated. Truly, at least slightly dehydrated. And what happens is when our body doesn't have enough water, it contributes to inflammation. Things don't work as well. And so ultimately it contributes to pain and illness and disease and symptoms. Just by drinking lots of water, you can make yourself feel so much better. The fourth step in the clean eating checklist is avoiding processed foods. Now that's kind of a big category, if we're thinking of packaged dinners and chips and cookies and all these boxed foods. Because if you think about it, there is some factory out there in the world that's making these foods, and for those foods to sit in a factory and maintain a level of stability where they don't get rancid or rotten, there has to be some degree of preservatives that go into that process of making those foods. And in one of our prior videos, we talked about the liver and how it reacts to foreign foods, things it doesn't recognize. Well, preservatives are a big one. Preservatives, when they come into our body doesn't recognize them. It doesn't know how to excrete them, how to deal with them. So if we eat a lot of preservatives or processed foods in our diet, ultimately what happens is our livers get congested. We develop a lot of inflammation, and it contributes to pain and illness and disease. If we're wanting to prevent all that and reduce our chronic pain and feel really good and elevate our energy level, avoiding processed foods is really important. Processed foods are not an allergen like gluten, so not to say that you can't ever have a tortilla chip or a cookie, but ultimately reducing it significantly is really important for a healthy diet. And when you are eating the occasional processed food, make sure it's gluten-free. And, there's always that 50-50 rule, that idea that 50% of the time we're going to do the best we can. And the other 50% of the time, we're not going to regret our choices. We're not going to have, feelings of guilt, because ultimately that can be just as traumatic and that can contribute to chronic pain as well. But ultimately, do your best, and anything is going to be better than what we're already doing. And the most important thing to say is, we have no idea how good we could feel until we feel better. And eating this way can absolutely make you feel better.
Thank you.